What these reggae drummers did in the studio was so revolutionary, it was almost illegal. I tracked down the lost recordings that reveal their secret techniques. The fifth drummer on this list invented a beat so powerful it changed music forever. Stick around to the end to hear it. The thunder that shook Kingston's heart never came from the clouds. It came from the hands of men like Lloyd Dunbar, known to the world as Sly Dunbar, who didn't just hit the drums. He struck down the silence of oppression and rolled out the red carpet for a new rhythm that would rewrite the language of resistance. Raised on vibrations passed down through iron and wood, Sly emerged not from a quiet place, but from a lineage of fire. When he teamed up with Robbie Shakespeare, it wasn't just a collaboration, it was prophecy. They baptized reggae into an era where traditional drums danced with electricity. Revolutionaries was a forge, and it was there that the rocker style exploded with militant precision. From Peter Tosh's haunting declarations to Black Uhuru's militant grooves, Sly's percussive genius stitched a map to the 1980s, where rubber dub and syncopated science revealed just how far the drum could bend the arc of history. And when machines came knocking, it was Sly who answered first. He did not reject technology. He led it. His digital-infused pulse on Shabaranks and Shakademus turned skepticism into revelation. The beat of Jamaica was never the same again. Yet before the Electric Revolution, there was a heartbeat named Carlton Barrett. He was a lion's pulse beneath Bob Marley's roar. At just 13, Carlton fell in love with the Skins, not by coincidence but by fate. Guided by the spirit of Lloyd Knibb, he honed a style that was all muscle and meditation. His snare cracked like judgment, and his hi-hat whispered like prayer. As part of the Hippie Boys, his foundation was laid, but it was his joining the Wailers that carved his legend in stone. Aston Barrett may have invented the one drop, but it was Carlton who gave its thunder. Concrete Jungle didn't just groove, it stomped. Exodus didn't just march, it levitated. He was Bob's backbone, not in metaphor but in blood. When he played on Augustus Pablo's masterpiece, King Tubby's meets Rockers Uptown, the drum did not just speak, it prophesied. And in one of the great ironies of rhythm, Carlton would give birth to his own successor by discovering Sly Dunbar, a succession that felt more like sacred right than chance. Before them both stood a titan in transition, Lloyd Knibb, with his cymbals soaring like wings and snare drums cracking like thunder over blue mountains. Knibb was not merely a drummer. He was a conjurer of nations. As a founding percussionist of the Skatalites, Knibb built the bridge between mento, calypso, and the soul of Jamaican music. Ska was not a genre until his fingers decided it was, and reggae had no roadmap until he paved it. When the Skatalites split and he joined the Supersonics, his rhythmic ingenuity continued nurturing the likes of John Holt and the Paragons. But perhaps it was Simmer Down, recorded with the Wailers, that proved how foundational his drumming truly was. The song boiled rebellion into a groove, and Knibb stirred it to perfection. If rhythm is memory, then Knibb's hands held the DNA of 1,000 ancestors. And then there was Leroy Horsemouth Wallace. More than a drummer, he was a living paradox, gentle with his peers but violent on the toms. Born in the hallowed walls of Alpha Boys School, where musical greatness is not optional but inevitable, Horsemouth galloped into history through speed, grace, and spiritual force. With Studio One soul vendors, he colored the rocksteady era with bursts of kinetic brilliance. His roles weren't merely technical, they were prophetic utterances. He rode with Dennis Brown, blazed trails with a burning spear, and summoned Marcus Garvey's ghost through the beat of black nationalism. And when the 1978 cult classic Rockers immortalized him as a cinematic icon, Horsemouth became the face and soul of the reggae drummer. He mentored greats like Santa Davis, but unlike many legends, Horsemouth never faded. He just rode into deeper rhythms. And speaking of Santa Davis, his name is synonymous with sacred consistency. A prodigy from Kingston who started behind the church pulpit, by 16, he was already in the inner sanctum of reggae's high temples, Bonnie Lee's Aggravators and the Soul Syndicate. He didn't just play the rhythms, he built them. With Peter Tosh, he found a spiritual twin. Songs like Equal Rights and Stepping Razor bled Santa's heartbeat into the revolution. And when Bob Marley needed clarity and courage, it was Santa's rhythm that carried Africa Unite into eternity. From Jimmy Cliff to Ziggy Marley, Santa's sticks were both sword and shield. He didn't just maintain tempo, he held the genre together like scaffolding. He's a drummer everyone wanted because he made every band sound like prophecy in motion. Somewhere between revolution and romanticism stood Lincoln-style Scott. He was never the loudest name, but every thump for his kit was a manifesto. It was Gregory Isaacs who recognized the hurricane inside him and installed a drum kit in his record store just so style could practice. From there, he became the nucleus of Roots Radics, a band that transformed reggae skin into dancehall muscle. His offbeat rim shots and tom slams were militant, deliberate, divine. He was the pulse behind Brampton Levy's rise, and the reason Yellow Man's Zunga Zunga Using didn't just entertain but conquered. And when he joined forces with Henry Junjo Laws, he didn't just support movement, he detonated it. Roots Radics were the architects of dancehall, and Style Scott was their engineer of intensity. Then came Angus Drummie Zeb, the British lion in a Jamaican jungle. In a time when reggae was considered an island-only treasure, Drummie Zeb and Aswad proved that London could echo with just as much fire. His drumming was velvet wrapped around dynamite. He didn't just play, he danced inside the pocket with ghost notes and shifting time signatures that bent logic. Tracks like Roots Rockin' and It's Not Our Wish weren't just songs, they were seismic events. His vocal ability was just as haunting, delivering honey and smoke in equal measure, while his drumming remained airtight and inventive. He became the father of a new sound, British lovers rock, and his influence would lace every heartbeat of UK reggae forever. Each of these men did more than keep time, they defied it. They weren't just drummers, they were mystics, prophets, and architects. Through their callous hands, empires were built. Sly Dunbar digitized rebellion. Carlton Barrett consecrated roots. Lloyd Knibb carved the map. Horsemouth Wallace bridged eras. Santa Davis preserved the flame. Style Scott militarized a movement. Drummie Zeb brought it home to London. In every snare and kick, there were echoes of Trenchdown, of Alpha Boys, of smoky studios and burning microphones. In every cymbal crash, the winds of Ethiopia whispered. In every one drop, the cries of Marcus Garvey found rhythm. These were not merely the greatest drummers in reggae history. They were its heart, its history, and its immortal breath. Now you've heard the story of the drummers who turned rebellion into rhythm and gave reggae its immortal pulse. Which one strikes you most? Sly Dunbar bending sound with machines, Carlton Barrett holding up Bob Marley's roar, or Horsemouth Wallace riding rhythms into cinema? Share your thoughts in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful music legacies.